Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to this video series, or this live stream I should say, on Windows Server 2003. So I'll just share my screen here. Okay, so Chapter 3, Active Directory Essentials Overview. One of the most significant features of Windows Server 2003 is Active Directory. Microsoft's Active Directory service. Active Directory allows administrators to manage users, computers, and resources across a network from a centralized location. This chapter introduces the fundamentals of Active Directory, including its structure, setup, and core components. 3.1. What is Active Directory? Active Directory is a database and set of services that connect users with the network resources they need. It authenticates and authorizes users and computers in a Windows domain and assigns and enforces security policies. It provides centralized authentication and authorization, centralized management of user accounts and groups, secure access to resources such as file shares and printers, integration with DNS for name resolution. 3.2. Benefits of Active Directory: centralized administration, scalability, supports large organizations with thousands of users and computers, security, group policies enforce consistent security settings, delegation allows role-based access control, single sign-on SSO, users log in once to access multiple services. 3.3. Active Directory components. Active Directory in Windows Server 2003 consists of several key elements. Component description, domain, logical group of network objects, users, and computers with the same AD database. Forest, collection of one or more domains that share a common schema and global catalog. 3. A group of domains that share a contiguous namespace, organizational unit OU, container within a domain to group objects for easier management. Global catalog, a searchable index of all objects in a forest. Sites represent physical topology to optimize replication. 3.4. Preparing for Active Directory installation. Before installing Active Directory, ensure the server has a static IP address. The server name is set and will not change. DNS is properly configured, can be installed during AD setup time and date are correct. 3.5. Installing Active Directory. DC Promo. DC Promo is a command line tool used to install Active Directory. Click Start Run, type DC Promo, press Enter. 2. Follow the Active Directory installation wizard. Choose Domain Controller for a new domain. Choose Create a new domain in a new forest. Enter the full DNS name of the domain, e.g. corp.example.com. Set bias name, automatically generated or custom. Choose database and log file locations. Default is fine. Specify sysvol folder used for replication. Install and configure DNS if not already present. Set directory services. Restore mode password, important for disaster recovery. 3. Restart the server after installation completes. 3.6. Post installation tasks. After setting up Active Directory, verify DNS is working. NSLookup, confirm replication for multi-DC setups, create user accounts and security groups, create and organize OUs, delegate control where appropriate, set up group policies. 3.7. Active Directory management tools. Tool purpose: Active Directory users and computers, manage users, computers, groups, OUs, Active Directory domains and trusts, manage domain trusts and UPN fixes, Active Directory sites and services, configure replication and sites, group policy management console, manage group policy objects, requires download on Windows Server 2003, NTDSUTIL, low-level database maintenance and recovery. 3.8 trusts and domains. Domains in a forest automatically trust each other. You can also manually establish external or shortcut trusts, external trusts between domains in different forests, forest trusts between entire forests, shortcut trusts for faster authentication between deeply nested domains. 3.9 organizational units and delegation. Organizational units allow you to structure your domain in a way that reflects your organization. Create OUs for departments or roles, HR, IT, sales, apply group policies at the OU level. Delegate specific tasks like password resets without granting full administrative access. 3.10 Best practice. Use meaningful OUs and domain names. Limit the number of domains unless necessary. Use GPOs for consistent security and settings. Delegate control at the OU level, not domain wide. Monitor replication and use tools like REPA admin and DCDIAG. Summary. Active Directory is the backbone of centralized identity and access management in Windows Server environments. Understanding its structure, installation, and management tools is essential for effective administration. With a properly configured AD, you can streamline user access, enforce policies, and secure your network resources. Chapter 4, Managing Users, Groups, and Computers Overview. Managing users, groups, and computers is a core responsibility for Windows Server 2003 administrators. This chapter focuses on creating and managing Active Directory objects efficiently, including users, groups, security and distribution, and computer accounts. You'll also learn best practice for delegation, naming conventions, and using command line tools. 4.1 Understanding Active Directory objects. In Active Directory, everything is an object. The most commonly managed are user accounts, represents individuals who log in and access network resources. Groups, collections of computers and users used for permissions and email distribution. Computer accounts represent machines that are part of a domain. Each object contains attributes, e.g. name, password, department. Creating user accounts. User Active Directory, users and computers. ADUC. To create users, steps: open ADUC dsa.msc, navigate to the desired OU, right-click New User, enter the user's full name, logon name, SAMA account name, domain UPN, set a password and configure. Password never expires. User must change password at next login. Account disabled, optional. Naming tip: use a consistent naming scheme like JSmith, John.Smith, jsmith.hr. 4.3 Managing User Properties. User properties can be configured in several tabs: General, Name, Description, Email, Account, Logon Name, Account Options, Logon Hours, Profile, Roaming, Profile Path, Logon Script, Home Folder, Member of, Group Membership, Styling, Remote Access Permissions. 4.4 Creating and using groups. There are two types of groups: type and purpose. Security, used for assigning permissions. Distribution, used for email lists exchange. Groups can be also scoped. User case: domain, local, assign permissions within a single domain. Global group, users from a same domain. Universal, combine groups across domains in a forest. Requires global catalog. Best practice: follow the AGDLP model: accounts, global groups, domain, local groups, permissions. 4.5 Group membership and nesting. You can nest groups for scalability, limit nesting depth to avoid complexity, use member of tab to verify group hierarchy. 4.6 Creating computer accounts. Computer accounts are created automatically when a machine joins a main joins a domain. To pre-stage them manually in ADUC, right-click and OU New Computer, enter computer name, optionally assign a user with join privileges. When a computer joins the domain, it authenticates using this account. 4.4 Resetting and disabling accounts. User or computer not working, try reset account, reset secure channel if used if trust breaks, disable account, prevent login without deletion, unlock account for accounts locked due to failed logins. Use ADUC or command line net user /active node to disable. 4.8 Delegation administrative control to allow non-admins to manage users or reset password. Right-click and OU delegate user. Use the delegation wizard to assign tasks. Reset password. Create users. 3. Assign permissions to a group, not an individual user. This supports least privilege and scalable management. 4.9 Using command line tools. Command line tools are different for bulk operations. DS add users, group computers. DS add user CN John Smith OU sales. DC domain. DC equals PWD password. DS mod modify properties. DS RM remove objects. DS query search objects. Net user local account management. Tip use batch files and scripts for automation. 4.10 Password policies and user rights. Password policies length, complexity, expiration set via group policy. OpenGP edit.msc or group policy management console. Navigate computer configuration, Windows settings, security settings, account policy, password policy. Configure minimum password length, password complexity, minimum password age, account lockout threshold. These settings affect domain accounts if applied at the domain level. 4.11 Account cleanup and maintenance. To keep AD clean, regularly review inactive accounts. Use DS query user inactive X. Disable then delete unused accounts. Archive user data before deletion. Use last logon timestamp for inactive reporting. Managing users, groups, and computers in Active Directory is fundamental to maintaining a secure and efficient Windows 2003 server environment. By following best practices for organization, delegation, and security, you ensure your network is both easy to manage and resilient to misuse or error. Chapter 5 Group Policy and Security Configuration Overview. Group policy is one of the most powerful features in Windows Server 2003, enabling centralized management and configuration of operating systems, applications, and user settings. This chapter explains how group policy objects, GPOs, work, how to create and link them, and how to use them to enforce security settings and administrative templates across an Active Directory environment. 5.1 What is group policy? Group policy allows administrators to define rules and configurations that are applied to users and computers in an Active Directory environment. These policies can enforce security requirements, deploy software, configure desktop settings, and much more. Group policies are stored in group policy objects, GPOs, which are linked to Active Directory containers such as sites, domains, organizational units, OUs. Node policies are applied hierarchy, local, site, domain, OU. 5.2 Understanding GPO inheritance and precedence. GPOs follow a layered approach: local GPO, site level GPOs, domain level GPOs, OU level GPOs, including nested OUs. Precedence rule: the last applied GPO has the highest precedence. Settings in child OUs can override those from higher levels unless blocked. Key concepts: no override prevents lower level GPOs from overriding settings. Block inheritance prevents higher levels GPOs from applying. 5.3 Creating and managing GPOs. To create a GPO, open Group Policy Management Console GPMC, install separately on Windows Server 2003. Right click a container, domain, or OU. Create and link a GPO here. Name the GPO descriptively, e.g. workstation security settings. To edit a GPO, right-click the GPO, edit. The Group Policy Editor appears with two major sections: Computer Configuration, User Configuration. Each contains software settings, Windows settings, administrative templates. 5.4 Common GPO scenarios. Here are some frequent cases: enforced password policy, computer configuration, Windows settings, security settings, account policies, disable control panel, user configuration, administrative templates, control panel, set a logon banner, computer configuration, Windows settings, security settings, local policies, security options, redirect folders, user configuration, Windows settings, folder redirection, deploy software, user configuration, software settings, software installation. 5.5 Security configuration via GPO. GPO is Group Policy Object. Security settings include password and account logout policies, user right assignment, e.g. who can log on locally, audit policy, are restricted groups for enforcing group membership, file system and registry permissions. Example, enforce a strong password policy, edit the appropriate GPO, navigate to computer configuration, Windows settings, security settings, account policies, password policies, set minimum password length 8 characters, password must meet complexity requirements, maximum password age. 5.6 Loopback processing. Loopback allows user settings to be shared on the computer the user logs into, not just their account. This is useful for kiosk or shared computers. Enable loopback. Navigate to computer configuration, administrative templates, system group policy. Enable user group policy loopback processing mode. Choose replace only computer GPOs apply to users. Merge both user and computer GPOs. Apply filtering GPOs with security groups. You can apply a GPO to specific users or groups using security filtering. Select the GPO in GPMC in the Scope tab under Security Filtering. Add remove security principals. Ensure read and apply group policy permissions are set. 5.8 Testing and troubleshoot group policy. Use the following tools: GP result /v run on a client, view apply GPOs, resultant set of policy RSOP simulates GPO application, group policy modeling GPMC, plan policy changes, event viewer, check for errors in the system and application logs. 5.9 Best practices. Organize OUs to reflect policy needs, not demands. Minimize the number of GPOs to reduce complexity. Use descriptive GPO names and comments. Delegate GPO management rights using GPMC. Document changes and version control critical GPOs. Regularly audit effective settings using RSOP. Summary. Group policy is essential for centralized management in Windows Server 2003. With thoughtful planning and implementation, administrators can secure, configure, and standardize environments efficiency and at scale. Mastering GPOs reduces repetitive tasks and enhances enterprise-wide compliance. So I'm going to leave it here today for this video. Thanks for spending the time with me, and I hope you have a nice evening. Thank you.